Alright, so this video is basically going to be about cleaning up your sketch. My sketches are really messy, but sometimes I just want a clean, nice, smooth sketch. So I'll show you a way that I retouch my sketches or clean up my sketches. And yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so personally for me, I really like this sketchy look. I love sketchy artworks. I love loose, quick sketches and drawings and sketchbooks. That's definitely my style, but I also like to clean up my sketches. This is from my other tutorial with the sizing. I drew the eyes and the nose, so I just kind of finished that out. Sort of looks like a mountain lion. So we're gonna clean this up. And there's a couple ways to do it. You could obviously erase around your lines and leave the lines that you want. That's one way to do it. The thing is it really depends how rough I want my sketch. The first thing that I'm going to do is just clean up some of the lines that really don't make sense, that I don't need at all. Like the center line. Like you don't need the center line once you have the drawing, and you really don't need these lines that just kind of shape the planes of the face. You really don't need those anymore, so those can go. So the center lines can go away, and it still looks sketchy, has that really sketchy look, but it's just cleaned up a little bit. Now what I usually do if I was gonna color this is I would just take this layer and I would put the opacity down, add another layer on top, use my favorite brush, Sketchmaster. I can make it fairly small. I usually don't use it all the way on 100% opacity. I usually have it around 90 or so. Just because I essentially made Sketchmaster. You can download all these brushes underneath, but I generally made Sketchmaster so it was a lot like a pencil. So first you have, pressure sensitive, of course, and I basically wanted it so it's not too dark, and if I really want to go dark, I have to go over it a couple times, just like with a pencil. Lead is like a dark gray, it's never true black. Okay, so basically you can just do your sketch again. So you basically just do your sketch again, but use long strokes. I know that sounds weird probably, but you use long strokes. And you can kind of still do that sketchy style, but since you already have your lines, you already have your sketch underneath, just copy the main lines that you want to use. Not worrying about being perfect and all that stuff. You just actually I should do this part later, but that's okay. I'll do it all at once now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this a perfect circle. So I'm going to do that, make a circle, and then hold it, and let Procreate do the hard work for me. And see, I'm still doing everything very sketchy, but it's just a little more controlled because I'm not working out the problems. The problems are already worked out. I'm just kind of smoothing out all the lines. So essentially just making everything a better version of itself. I'm going to do a tutorial on noses too because they're really annoying, but I think I figured out a nice way to kind of get them mostly right. So keep an eye out for that tutorial as well. Also notice like for example this line here, I'm doing it really light in these lines because they're not actually lines, they're just kind of depressions on the face. So like I always make those lighter. Like for example this line here, like it's more of like a stylistic line to kind of show like, you know, where his eye, the eye socket kind of, not eye socket, but the eye area goes deeper in to his face. So they're almost showing me where I want, like this will be light and this will be dark. This area will be dark. So they're kind of just showing me that information. But they look cool as a sketch, so that's why I add them in. Just because they look cool. But sometimes people have really, really cool sketches. And you can do really, really quick sketches, but then you can also just clean them up. And you really have a nice sketch look. Just in a polished way. And let me get rid of the layer underneath. Choose a different brush and color that in. And just to show you what I was talking about before, see, this area would be dark. Because if the light is coming from above, then that's in shadow. Also, if the light's coming in above, well, the nostrils are kind of always dark, but nostrils. But he would have a shadow under his nose, under here, under his eyelid. Well, if you know my work, I always do a shadow under the eyelid. Light would be hitting here, so give a shadow like that on his eyes. Her. It looks like a her. Make it a her. I also like to do that so then I can go and erase back. Make that nice little light pop right there, which I love. Alright, we'll go back to the same brush. Give her a little color there. And this whole one is kind of in the back, so I'm just going to shade that all in just because it's a little further back on the head. You could also give a little color here because that's a little further back. And how about we give her some ear tips? Just to show some color on the, you know, some you know, colorations on the fur. And then you can do some really fun ones too. You know, you can basically just lots of fun options like that. And that's pretty much just a cleaner looking sketch. You know, and you can go underneath. You can I'll take a nice beige color and you can literally just color underneath. Let me do this quick. You can basically just color underneath like that to give it some color. You can go underneath that layer and white out the eyes. You can change the opacity. You know, these are all like you can always change. It's great to do things on different layers because you can always change everything. So, and already it's pretty, you know, it looks a lot. The sketch is starting to look a little more polished. And if it's not enough, if you want it darker, you can just duplicate the sketch layer. Merge down, you can duplicate both. And then you can change the opacity if you decide you don't like it. So yeah, there's a lot of options. But we'll leave it at the cleaned up sketch since that's what this tutorial is about. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you got some tips out of that. There you go.